To help protect and inform both participants and project managers, the program requires that all subscription agreements contain certain provisions to establish a community solar project. This video outlines the required details within the project manager's contract for each participant. Every participant contract must contain certain provisions and must be accompanied by a program-provided checklist. Residential subscription agreements must use a program-provided template which displays these mandatory provisions in a standardized template and provides specific instructions to the project manager. Additionally, low-income customers have their own template, which is similar to the residential contract template but includes more unalterable text. All required contract documents, including the residential contract template, the low-income contract template, and the disclosure checklist, can be found on the program website under Project Manager Resources. Subscription agreements between project managers and residential participants must use a standard contract template. There are two versions of the agreement template, one for low-income participants and a standard version. These templates allow project managers to customize key subscription terms. All mandatory contract provisions that have been described in this video are incorporated into the standard subscription agreement. Project managers must provide a program disclosure checklist to every participant before executing a subscription agreement. This checklist template, as well as the standard template, can be found on the OregonCSP.org website under Project Manager Resources. Any modification for the disclosure checklist beyond those described in the instructions accompanying the template are prohibited. Mandatory contract provisions. Project managers must use the program's standard contract template for all contracts with residential participants. Language within each contract must be plain and written in a manner that is understandable to the participant. In some cases, the provision requires the inclusion or explanation of certain terms of participation, or it requires that specific language must be used. The agreement between the participant and the project manager must incorporate the terms found in the disclosure checklist. Costs, risks, and benefits of participation. The costs, risks, and benefits of being a participant within the project must be included within the subscription agreement. This includes an estimate of the generation of the project and participant subscription, the exact provided description of a bill credit, any fees associated, a description of payment collection by the project manager, and a detailed schedule that displays the estimated annual costs and benefits. An example chart of this can be found in the contract template. Please refer to the billing video for more information on excess generation over an annual billing cycle. Length and transferability. The contract term must be at least 10 years for each participant. If a participant moves, they can relocate their subscription if they are within their utility service territory. Relocation instruction must be made clear in the contract for each participant, as well as any fees imposed by the project manager that may be associated to changes in the size of the subscription. A participant can transfer their subscription if there are no modifications. The participant must provide at least 3 weeks' notice to their project manager if they are going to transfer their subscription, and there may be a fee associated if listed in the contract. Low-income customers may not transfer their subscription unless it is to a member of the same household. This transfer must be allowed at no cost. Termination or disconnection. There must be clear instructions in each contract for terminating a subscription before the end of a contract term. The fees for termination must be disclosed, as well as the project manager's off-bill method of collecting the fee must be described. Early termination fees for residential participants must not exceed 50% of the gross estimated annual bill credit value of the subscription if there is reasonable notice provided. What constitutes reasonable notice must be described. In addition, cost recovery options must be described in the contract if termination is imminent due to force majeure situations. If the contract is breached, participants or project managers may terminate the contract if the other party fails to cure the breach within 30 days of being notified by the non-breaching party. If there is a bill credit balance on the participant's account at the time of an early termination, it will be forfeited and donated to the utility's low-income programs. The project manager will need to provide instructions for procedures of any off-bill collection charges for unpaid off-bill charges, as well as any penalties for non-payment of on-bill subscription charges. Penalties may not be charged to low-income participants. In the case of utility disconnection of a customer account, instructions of procedures must be disclosed. Contract requirements. Project managers must include the process for changing their size subscription with the contract and disclose any fees associated. No fees may be imposed for reducing the size of a subscription for low-income participants. There are two separate explanations of renewable energy credits within the program implementation manual that must be included within the contract. The version is dependent on the size of the project. An outline must be included within the contract that ensures the security of private participant information in accordance with its obligation as a registered project manager as described in the Code of Conduct. The verbiage for descriptions of responsibilities for the program administrator, the utility, and the Oregon Public Utility Commission need to be included within the contract. The participant's right to file a complaint using a dispute resolution process must be included in the contract. The project manager's dispute resolution process must be clearly described, as well as any mandatory arbitration processes. Project status and performance. If a project is not operational at the time the participant enters into the contract, the project manager must provide the estimated commercial date, as well as indicate the frequency and method by which they will notify the participant about the status of the project. An update is required at a minimum of 3 months until the project is operational, and explain the participant's options if the project is delayed by more than a year, including remedies and refunds that would apply. It must be clearly stated that the participant will not be receiving bill credits until after the project is operational. A project manager must be notified in advance if a planned outage is more than 3 days and include an estimated date by which the project will resume operation. Project managers must assume all responsibility, liability, and costs for the ongoing operations, maintenance, or repair of the project. No extra fees for repair or maintenance may be passed on to the participant. The project manager must notify the participant by mail within 2 weeks of the decision to terminate. The notice must describe the participant's options, rights, and remedies under the contract, including the refundability of any upfront payments. Any guarantee of performance must also be disclosed. Additional mandatory provisions. Participants must be given the right to cancel the contract and receive a full refund on any deposits or payments if the request is made within 3 business days. Participant Consent Agreement. This provides consent from the participant for the utility to provide the project manager and program administrator utility usage and billing information to perform monthly billing and crediting information. Participant Information Release. This provides consent from the participant to allow the program administrator use of report information in aggregate of you and the subscription to the Oregon Public Utility Commission, the Oregon Legislature, or other state agencies as necessary. All other information gathered is treated as confidential. Contracts may impose additional requirements on participants, provided they do not discriminate based on race, color, religion, sex, sexual orientation, national origin, marital status, disability, familial status, or source of income. Review of contract template. Project managers can find the residential participation contract on the program website under Project Manager Resources. The basic formatting of the contract template must remain as is, with a minimum of 10-point font. Text in plain font within the template is unalterable. Text in all caps and bold in square brackets indicates blanks to be filled in when finalizing the contract. Text in bold and curly brackets accompanied by "or" indicates a selection must be made from a set of options. After a selection has been made, the text in bold and curly brackets that does not apply may be deleted. Text in bold italics is purely instructional and may be deleted. Let's review a couple of examples. Under the section, Your Subscription, the project manager must include whether the project is owned or leased for the term of the contract. Kilowatt is in bold to remind the project manager to include the number that lists the size of the subscription. Following size, the estimated production of the subscription, as well as the estimated total production over the term of the contract, must be included in kilowatts. Another example is Section 9 of the participant contract and includes information about renewable energy credits. Since the first 3 paragraphs are in plain text, these are unalterable and are required to remain within the contract. The 4th paragraph is instructional and informs the project manager that they must include the verbiage of the 5th paragraph in bold and curly brackets if a waiver has been acquired for the Western Renewable Energy Generation Information System. When preparing the form for a participant, the instructions in the beginning of the document should be deleted. Please note that Spanish and Russian language versions of the template are available in the Resources section of the program website. Disclosure Checklist. The beginning section of the subscription agreement contains a disclosure checklist with a section for each participant to fill out and a separate section for the project manager's information. Each participant's name, physical address, phone number, email address, utility, account number, and the preferred method of contact for notifications by project manager must be filled out completely. The utility account number can be found on your monthly account statements. Any information that is in all caps and bold and square brackets is meant to be filled out by either the participant or the project manager. Alternatively, each project manager will need to include their business name, address, phone, email, and the first and last name or business name for whom prepared the form. Example schedule. Also included in the subscription contract is an example schedule of the terms of the agreement. The schedule should include 1 row for each year in which the participant will be subscribing. For example, if it is a 10-year contract, there should be 10 rows displaying the estimated yearly savings or cost, the estimated yearly production, the subscription fee, bill credit, and a maximum program fee. If there are any upfront payments associated with the project, a year 0 should be included. The subscription fee is determined by the project manager, while the bill credit rate and the maximum program fee can be found on the website under Project Manager Resources. Please feel free to reach out and contact us at the information provided if you have any additional questions.